a while since we started this project. I have to give credit for the inception of the idea to our CFO, Mr. Rajendra Prasad. He brought this idea to us and of the shared services, and at that point of time we had our own apprehensions of whether it made sense or not for SRF. But having gone through the whole project and having looked at not just the financials but the other benefits that come out of it for the organization, we felt as a progressive organization it makes sense for us to look at the concept of shared services, and then we embarked upon this project along with our value.
We had been thinking about setting up a shared service center for a very long time. This thought had been there in my mind for about 2-3 years. We thought that it's an opportune time to get it started. I discussed it with the MD. First, we appointed consultants to do the feasibility study, whether it is even worthwhile to go ahead with the idea or defer it once again for a later period. Once we did the feasibility study, it was quite clear that this idea had to be acted upon now. The CLT was also taken into confidence and they endorsed the idea fully.
To be honest, when it all started, we were quite skeptical about it. Skeptical in the sense, one feels that since we were in control of all the processes, how would it look like if this was sort of outsourced, whether outsourced within the company or outsourced outside the company. And honestly, we had a lot of discussions in smaller groups of business leaders, in the larger group at the CLT level, and a lot of deliberations happened. And all in all, it made sense that it is good enough to at least take a chance, take a leap of faith.
I remember when we approved this concept at the CLT level, we knew that this was the right thing to do, but immediately as we were discussing this, we also knew that we'd have to tackle certain immediate challenges that would come in the way. The first one I remember talking about this was the fact that this is a huge change management issue. However progressive any organization is, there's always a comfort with status quo. And we knew that in order to do something new at this scale required a lot of people to be convinced, a lot of resistance to be overcome, overt and covert, and not always illegitimate.
We at Our Value has a framework called SET, S-E-T, Shape, Execute, Transform. And as part of SHAPE, we looked at the feasibility of shared services strategy for SRF. As part of this review, we interacted with the CLT members, we interacted with the functional and business leaders, took their perspective. We also visited many of the sites to understand the current environment of the process, the linkage with the technology, the system, and the infrastructure. Based on various understanding, assessment of information, assimilation, we summarized the findings and shared with the CLT. The CLT took a collective decision to go ahead with the shared services strategy.
We truly believe there is one key requirement for strategic execution, and that is what we call BIC to BIC, best in class to best in context. To make this happen, we focus on two key elements. The first one is BP to BP, which is business process to business performance, which is really focused on making sure the processes are aligned, streamlined, and transformed. The second one is really focused on transaction to transformation, which means that we start with operations which are transactional or operational in nature and move up the value chain to make sure that the company creates value through the shared services operations.
One of the first key decisions we had to make is to decide upon which processes would be transitioned to this unit. After much deliberation, it was decided that 3 processes would initially be transferred, all from the finance function, finance and accounting function. There are various models in which shared services are initiated or shared services service centers are set up by various companies. We decided to go with a hybrid model where a managed services partner would deploy a services leader to this unit.
The There was a project plan prepared which had 400 plus line items, covering 4 tracks primarily: process, people, technology and infrastructure, and overarching project and change management. We had tough conversations, tough moments, roadblocks. We also had lots of aha moments, happy moments. The team in both the situations came together to find out the solution, the resolution to those tough situations. As part of our process design, we also captured each process into what we call as an OPDs, operating procedure documents, which has the responsibility matrix, which has the process flows, which has also the issues and exceptions faced today, and highlighting what could be the opportunities as we go forward.
We had a large project at hand where we had to enable a server room, we had to enable networks, we had to enable servers, UPS, we had to do video conferencing setups and everything. It was like setting up another large office for SRF. This is probably one of the larger projects we have done in IT over quite some time. And this was done in quick record time. One of the important things that was going to change was the way documents was going to move. And that's where we thought we'll use SharePoint as a solution. The internal team took up the challenge and set up a fabulous system which is helping us track all the documents which are coming from the various business sites.
We decided on a model that was sort of an amalgamation of a number of models that organizations follow. So we said that we'll have people from within SRF because we needed the internal domain. We said we'll get people from outside who've been working in the shared services environment, because you must remember that this is something that we were doing for the first time, and there was no in-house expertise in operating in an environment like that, which we believe to be different. And we had to get certain people which would provide us with the requisite flexibility and get the industry domain, so that we had a motley mix of people from 2 or 3 different sources. And I think we did pretty well by putting the recruitment machinery in overdrive, by talking to all the internal stakeholders, removing their apprehensions. And today we are happy to note that we are very close to the model that we had predicted before we started the initiative.
Found out a place and put up the center in a record time of 35 days. We'll be able to cut the ribbon on 1st of September.
From the business perspective, there are 4 key drivers: speed, quality, cost, and value. In order to achieve this, the shared services needs to enable, ensure, and enhance the metricization process, which means to track, monitor, report, and review to create continuous and sustainable progress.
My expectations from the shared service center is that it will develop as a larger organization, giving us more value, more processes from both the finance and accounting and other processes that can be migrated to the shared service center. Brings a lot of value to SRF here as well as internationally.
Shared service initiative will help in uniformity of processes across, which was not there earlier, will now become a reality. It will also release a lot of energy for getting into more productive activity, rather than into operations, which had been taking lion's share of our time. And we expect that with shared service, which is a great, initiative which will increase the overall productivity of the finance functions, increase the reliability of the information which is flowing in.
SRF employees from various units have been very brave. They've come ahead and actually relocated to work in this shared services center. The real benefit from the center will derive when more processes are transferred. This is just the seed, and the seed has to grow into a plant, into a tree, and I see it expanding. It's a good career opportunity for the employees who are here and employees who will come into it later. I don't think that the center will limit itself to processing only these three processes. The first step would be that other processes from finance would shift into the center. There is potential for processes from other functions also to shift to the center.
I wish our shared services team all the best, and I hope they add tremendous value to the organization over a period of time.
I wish the team all success in this venture. We wish that we will be able to provide excellent services to the entire organization.
I wish all the best to the shared services operations team to grow and build it further. A great asset and a strategic asset for the organization.
And almost at the cusp of its inauguration on 1st, I wish all the employees all the best and success so that this center thrives and grows from strength to strength. Thank you.
It feels really great to be a part of the SRF SSC team. We now have the opportunity to move up the value chain and make a positive impact across SRF's business processes.
The camera.
We always find a better way.
We will deliver. Action.
Yes, we can.